Donald Trump's onslaught of tariffs has stoked fears of a global recession. It's triggered a stock market sell-off of the kind not seen since the scary early days of the pandemic. After 2 days of heavy falls last week, stock markets are now approaching crash territory. Asian markets fell heavily overnight. Japan's Nikkei dropped by 7.8%, Hong Kong's Hang Seng crashed by 13%. It was its worst day since 1997, and China's biggest index fell by 8%. Asian stock markets are being hit hard because Trump has inflicted the heaviest tariffs on imports to the US from China, Vietnam, Thailand, Japan and South Korea. But China's move to hit back with an extra 34% tariff on US imports has ratcheted up fears that a global trade war is intensifying. And those fears have been made even worse after Donald Trump said this last night.
I don't want anything to go down, but sometimes you have to take medicine to fix something.
London's FTSE 100 stock market fell by as much as 4.9% this morning. That's on top of the 4.5% fall on Friday, which wiped out over £100 billion of value. That means that over £250 billion has been wiped off the values of British companies since Liberation Day. France and Germany's stock markets have suffered even bigger falls. In short, there's panic in the markets as investors are betting that Trump's tariffs will trigger a global recession. Analysts at JP Morgan, the huge Wall Street bank, have put a 60% chance on a recession. Meanwhile, big US financier Bill Ackman, who has until now been a big champion of Donald Trump, warned that the US faces an economic nuclear winter. Traders are dumping stocks and instead piling into safer government bonds, known as gilts in the UK and treasuries in the US. One trader who has been investing for over 40 years told me that this shift to bonds suggests recession and bets that the central banks, including the Bank of England, will cut interest rates. So why do people think that there will be a recession? Well, traders are betting that tariffs will trigger a recession because they'll make global trade much more expensive. As a result, companies' profits will be squeezed as they make less money from selling their goods in the US. Analysts also warn that spooked companies will invest significantly less because the world has become far too volatile for them to have confidence to do so. This is going to ripple across both big and small companies. In the car industry, there's already been warnings that US tariffs will cause 25,000 job losses in the UK alone. And higher costs will lead to higher prices, but it's unclear that consumers will be able to afford to pay for them if the economic picture gets worse. As a result, there's going to be a downturn in consumer spending, which will hit the economy and squash any hopes of growth. That's why stock markets are falling, because they're often a good indicator of how investors believe the economy will fare over the next few years.